we also are proud that we are getting closer and closer to having our big ICC, the International Convention Center, down at Eswatini, which is the Valley. I think for our people wanting to come to the kingdom to host those conferences, I think the reality is that we are ready as a country. We are going to be even more ready once we have our International Convention Center up and running. We do believe that we are ready to host big conferences. And we know that when they come here, they will have the experience of their life. Also contributing a revenue of about 2 billion emalangeni, which is towards our gross domestic product, which is GDP. So amongst other things, those are the key two measures, if you like. And but also we know that if that happens, particularly if the tourism sector is actually growing, it will also be seen by the number of jobs that are actually created in the sector. But also we pride ourselves with a country that has got that beauty. I think the reality is that the scenic views of our beautiful kingdom is also critical in attracting people to our country. And I would always say that unfortunately, when you are sitting inside the country, you can't see it. But when people come to the country, when they arrive here, they will tell you, you've got such a beautiful country. I think the other day,
in a country and we don't care about you, we want you to feel at home, away from home. So I think, and it's like it's embedded in us because you get it everywhere. You get it everywhere, from the petrol stations that will be attending you to everywhere. By the time you get to the event, you are very happy.
Hello, my name is Siphiwo Lushaba, and you are on The Marketplace. We lead conversations that inform, that empower, and that connect. And today we have a very special episode. First of all, I'd like to thank our partners, the Hilton Hotel, African Tourism Showcase, and Imagine Graphics. And today we have a very special episode where we are hosting the CEO of Eswatini Tourism Authority. And we also have a very special co-presenter that will be joining us later on today. And I would like to welcome you, Mr. Dlamini, Mr. Vusie Norman Dlamini, to the marketplace.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shaba, and thanks for the warm welcome.
Thank you, sir. Maybe to start off, can you briefly tell us a little bit about yourself, as well as the position that you are in at ETA, and what drives the passion for tourism?
Thank you very much. I like introduced, I'm Vusie Norman Dlamini. I always say it's important to mention that middle name. There's so many Vusie Dlaminis in the kingdom. But yes, I am a communications and marketing specialist by profession. But predominantly I've practiced in corporate communications. I've spent, before joining the ETA as the Chief Executive Officer, I spent about 13.5 years, I think, with the Eswatini Revenue Service, an entity that I joined at inception way back in 2010, where I was responsible for actually establishing the comms and marketing division there. And driving the whole agenda of engaging with different stakeholders. So for me, exciting to then join Eswatini Tourism Authority, which coming from the tax environment is more of an entity that is about positioning the entire country now than just positioning tax payment, as it were. So that is what really got me into thinking this is something that I would want to explore and actually drive, because it's about positioning the country as a destination of choice and getting people to see our beautiful country.
So how has your previous leadership experience shaped your approach to ETA's mission and vision?
Well, generally, my experience has, like I mentioned, has been in corporate communications, in stakeholder engagements, in being out there to actually promote the brand. And so for me, the shaping is a bit more towards that, to say it's about now promoting the bigger brand, which is Eswatini as a tourism destination.
Yeah.
So with that experience of having promoted a brand with the ERS, for instance, where I spent pretty much most of my time, I think my thinking then becomes a little bit more, what is it that we can do to promote now the Eswatini as a tourism destination, which is much at a bigger level than necessarily from purely a tax perspective.
Okay, so what would you say is the core mission of ETA, and how would you say that this is how you would measure the success of achieving it?
Well, the country has got a very, very clear vision when it comes to tourism. I think we want to position ourselves as a destination of choice in Africa. We know people want to travel to all sorts of places.
Yeah.
But when they come to Africa, we would really want our people all over the world to see Eswatini as the preferred choice, or as the preferred destination, such that they do come here. The measurement then would definitely be based on what we have put up as a strategy, which I already found was rolling, which was very clear in terms of measurement. It will be speaking to the numbers of people that are coming into the country. I think there's a target that we have set as a country of 2 million tourists coming into the country by 2027.
Okay.
But also contributing a revenue of about 2 billion emalangeni, which is towards our gross domestic product, which is GDP. So amongst other things, those are the key two measures, if you like. And but also we know that if that happens, particularly if the tourism sector is actually growing, it will also be seen by the number of jobs that are actually created in the sector. So it's even more appreciated that if you look into the government plan of action, if you look into the government grand plan, which is being pursued at the highest level in government, it also prioritizes tourism as a key sector to drive our economy. So it definitely tells you that there's lots that we need to contribute as the tourism sector.
Definitely, Mr. Dlamini. So you speak of 2 million tourists by 2027. So what opportunities and challenges have you experienced towards achieving that goal, or you anticipate you experience towards achieving that goal?
Well, the reality of the matter is that tourism is a little bit more complex. It's a bit more dynamic. Things are changing every day. I think the key thing that we need to understand is that we're chasing a moving target, because whilst you would be expecting that in before 2020 or before 2019, the COVID era, the country was sitting at 1.22 million in terms of people that were already coming into the country. But COVID struck, and the country had a vision, had a view of getting numbers elsewhere. But then COVID struck. That becomes then a challenge, because we are then not able to meet the targets that we have actually set. So I think the reality is that tourism is affected by quite a number of things that are happening globally. So if things are happening in Ukraine, Russia, things are happening in Israel, you know that then if there is a market that you have that ordinarily comes from that side, from a tourism perspective, then those people will not be able to travel. So that then affects the numbers at the end of the day, which then means you need to re-strategize and probably relook into the numbers, or also look into markets that are closer to your destination. For instance, for me, it then says, if our target was mainly to bring tourists from outside of Africa, we then say, what is it that we can do to push travelers that are closer to Eswatini? Because we also are aware that when it comes to our source markets. South Africa is our biggest source market. It is just nearby. It won't be complicated for South Africans to come to the country. Mozambique as well is our second. So it then says you need to re-strategize and see how you can actually improve the numbers coming from your neighboring countries.
Okay. So considering the fact that you're saying you want a tourist from outside of Eswatini to come and explore Eswatini. Eswatini is rich with natural and cultural heritage. So according to your understanding, what unique experiences should visitors not miss when coming to Eswatini?
Well, like you've said, Lushaba, I think we are very rich in terms of our cultural heritage. We know that, amongst other things, just now in September, we are coming from one of the biggest events that we have as a country, which is a cultural event, the Reed Dance, the Umhlanga ceremony, which we know attracts quite a number of people. So we then would encourage people to visit, especially during that period. We know that there's also quite a number of other events that are happening in the country. I mean, outside of Umhlanga, which is a cultural event, we know we have the Ingwala event. We also have the Bukano ceremony, which is up and coming as well. And we have seen that also has a potential to attract more people to come to our country. But for me, it's not just that. We are aware that there's also big events that are also, if you look at their shaping, they also infuse who we are as a Maswati. I think if you look at our Bushfire Festival, if you look at the Standard Bank Luchu Festival as well, these are some of the events that ordinarily, if you look at the way they are shaped, the way the private sector is shaping them, they're shaping them also in line with ensuring that as people get there, they also experience the cultural element of who we are as a Maswati. So for me, that is one that would be very critical. But also we pride ourselves with a country that has got that beauty. I think the reality is that the scenic views of our beautiful kingdom is also critical in attracting people to our country. And I would always say that unfortunately, when you are sitting inside the country, you can't see it. But when people come to the country, when they arrive here, they will tell you, you've got such a beautiful country. I think the other day we were having visitors for Hilton as well, that they came here and they said, oh, what a beautiful drive. The views as you drove through from the airport coming to up in Babane is actually a scenic view. So there's quite a lot that we can actually share or encourage people to experience in the country. For me, furthermore, is you then want your tourists not to just experience it from that distance. The issue of hiking as well is also one that is very critical for our tourists to experience. We're so happy that we just from an event that was hosted by the private sector together with government and the ETA, the Tourism event, which brought in different stakeholders to sit together and talk about how we can improve tourism in the kingdom. And it was beautiful to see one of the leaders in hiking, the private sector, launching one of the big hiking route, and they named it Luhambo, which I think for me is actually a good build-up towards having a national hiking trail that would then allow our tourists to move from place to place, not to just see the scenic views of this country from a distance or whilst they drive, but as they walk through the Luhambo route. For me, it's something that is worth experiencing.
Okay, from what I'm getting is that you are speaking of sustainable tourism. So, as in some of, and we are already talking about some of the initiatives that ETA is already doing. So, maybe can you also highlight on some of the projects, key projects or initiatives that ETA is currently focusing on in a quest to promote sustainable tourism?
Yeah, I think when I actually took this responsibility, I did mention that we as myself as a person responsible for leading the entity, our role is not complete without the private sector. Our role is not complete without all the other different stakeholders. So ours is to just facilitate. So I would not really point out to specific initiatives that you would know would have been done specifically by us there as the ETA. I don't want to go too much into detail there. I've already mentioned one of the initiatives, Luhambo, which is initiated by the private sector, which is private sector led. I was just work with them to ensure that the environment is conducive for them to continue to drive that is actually very well aligned to what you're talking about in terms of sustainable tourism. But we also do have some community-based products or initiatives which we have existed for a while, but it is important for us to find a way to get them to be more visible, to be more out there. So that whenever our tourists come to the country, they don't just end within the Manzini Mbabane city town corridors or go mainly to the game reserves or nature reserves, but they can also visit the community projects as well that we have. We have got quite a number of them. Some have got hiking experiences. We do have them both in north, south, and east of the country. We know we've got Sheula Mountain Camp, for instance, which has got beautiful views. And if you visit that area, you can actually tell the way it was built is also built from a sustainable tourism point of view. We've got something as well in Ho at Mvembili, and we appreciate support as well, working with EEA and Eswatini Environment Authority to ensure that that project also exists. So it's quite a number of them. Mahamba in the southern side of the country, the Mahamba Gorge as well is one of those that we know our tourists, when they come to this country, can actually experience. So there's quite a number of them that we are working on, and within the entity, we've got a product development entity. We are trying to document all this so that we can start bringing them out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. So maybe to also get into the MICE, which my co-host will be tackling. The African Tourism Showcase will be focusing on MICE. So how does ETA leverage such platforms to boost Eswatini's visibility internationally?
Well, our intention is very clear. It is that we do want to promote the country from a MICE perspective. We want to ensure that whenever we go to these different shows that we participate in to promote the destination. We also promote the destination from a MICE perspective, because we know that we are building up towards an even bigger capacity. We are aware that there's places like the Hilton, which I was saying the other day that the hotel itself has actually become one of the symbolic hotels. If you look at our hotels in the country, if you look at Mbabane particularly, it's a very good destination for your meetings, for your conferences, and it's sitting right in the city center, if you like, and very close to places. So presents it as a very good place if you want to have your proper meetings within the vicinity. But outside of that, we also are proud that we are getting closer and closer to having our big ICC, the International Convention Center, down at Eswatini, which is the Valley, and very close to other accommodation facilities as well. The ICC itself is expected to be having more than 7,000 having 7,000 people at a time if you were actually hosting the biggest of conferences. And I think for me, it's a big opportunity as well for us as a country to bring conferences big as they may want to be particularly from the African region or even from all over the world.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Dlamini. Just to keep you up to speed, MICE means meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. Maybe as my last question, today we are at Hilton. And speaking on the MICE, how do you feel destinations like MICE destination like the Hilton, how do you see them playing a role in growing this sector?
I think definitely, as long as I have already mentioned, that this is one of the key destinations for MICE in my view.
Okay.
And if you look at it, it's already very much used by international organizations when they want to have some key meetings and some conferences as well.
Okay.
They would actually be having them here, and for me, it's a beautiful destination, and also the fact that it also does have a good capacity in terms of accommodation as well, because whilst you would want to have meetings and conferences, the accommodation is also important. But let's make an example and say maybe you have the conferences, but the accommodation would not be enough. But like I mentioned, the hotel is situated very close to other hotels that would not be too far from here. Just in an event, they would be having conferences that would be bigger than the accommodation that they have here. We know that then other hotels, small establishments around would also benefit. So I think for me, it's one of the key destinations that we have at the moment from a MICE.
Yeah. Thank you. This is an amazing conversation where we're speaking about how to make Eswatini one of the tourist hubs in Africa, even the whole world. And I'll be joined by, in fact, the conversation will be joined by our co-presenter from the Director of African Tourism Showcase, Ms. Hloniphile Matsebula, who'll be continuing with the conversation with the CEO, Mr. Dlamini. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Siphiwo. Thank you so much. On behalf of Tourism Showcase Eswatini, we are very honored to have you today here, Mr. Dlamini. Thank you so much. Our main goal as African Tourism Showcase is to obviously shine a spotlight on Eswatini as a competitive and inspiring tourism destination, with a specific focus on growing meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. So we believe that by connecting with stakeholders, it's going to be successful. Mr. Dlamini, thank you so much. We look forward to learning from you today, from your vision and leadership. My question would be, I think he has already asked it, but maybe you can share just a little nugget on it. What makes Eswatini an attractive choice for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, especially compared to our neighboring countries?
Well, I think that the most important thing for us, we can all have the venues, we can all have the different facilities.
Absolutely.
I think the people as well are very important. I think
Absolutely.
the warmth of Eswatini is one of the key things. It's one of our key selling points if you look at it. I think the other thing is safety. When people want to go into a country, they are very particular about if they want to take a conference into a country, they would want to know how safe that country is. I think that's the one other thing that we do have as a kingdom. We are a very safe and very relaxed kingdom. I've traveled a few, not many, a few African countries. I think our road network is actually very good.
Absolutely.
Here's the reality, and you can travel from Manzini to Mbabane. You can travel actually almost the entire country. So I think for me, we do have a very good network in terms of road infrastructure. And so I do believe that those are some of the key things that people that would want to have conferences in this country would actually be looking into, because for you to move from place to place to have or attend those meetings or conferences, it is important that you know that the road network is actually proper. But also, like I mentioned, critical to then also know how you are going to be interacting or who you are going to be interacting with in terms of service. I think the want of Eswatini, I think for me, it's one of the key selling.
I would totally agree with you. Everywhere you go, I've also traveled a few countries, especially in the SADC region. They will tell you, you are from Eswatini. Wow, what an amazing country, not just the landscapes and, all those beautiful trees and mountains, but the hospitality of the people. I think we just have world-class hospitality. Thank you for your insight, Mr. Dlamini. Can you I think you have shared one with Mr. Lushaba, but maybe you share another one that an example of a recent event that showcases, these advantages that you have just spoken about.
Well, we have actually hosted a number of events, obviously, as a country. I think a few months back, for instance, I remember we hosted an event where, though it was a local event, hosted down in Matsebula, a huge event hosted by the Dinkundla government. I mean, the Dinkundla ministry. Mm-hmm. It actually got us to showcase what we have, even from a capacity perspective, as well as sharing with other countries, because we also brought in people. They brought in people from different countries to participate in that event, and it was a success for me. There's been quite a number of things that have actually happened. I think we have seen a few AU-related meetings as well happening in the country. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a lot. I mean, when it comes to actual events, I think we have had quite a number of events. Like you would know, we have the bushfire. It's a big event that happens in this country. Mm-hmm. We've got the Luju event. We've got Makoti Festival. Yes. There's quite a number of those events that are happening in the country that we know they do attract quite a number of people coming from abroad.
I agree. I mean, we recently had, one of the biggest investment forum in the country, which was also amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So now let's move to opportunities and impact. How can developing the MICE sector create more jobs and attract investment and benefit local businesses like ourselves and communities across Eswatini?
Yeah, I think the reality of the matter is, if you have a meeting, if you picture it, if you have a big meeting happening here at Hilton, and if it is a big meeting that is happening, you know that one, that then means if the hotel at that point in time, as a venue for this conference, had some 100 people to work, but if the event is much bigger or the conference is much bigger, it then says they need to bring in more people. That's opportunities for our young people that need jobs. It also presents quite a number of other opportunities, even for entities like probably yourselves that would be interested in promoting certain aspects. I would expect that whosoever is running certain events locally would need to also get locals to actually work with them to put together those events or conferences. And for me, from a tourism perspective, it doesn't just end there. We are aware that when people go for conferences and meetings or whatever, they would also want to do some excursion. So that then means the people that are responsible for guiding and taking people to different places of interest, they also come in. I mean, if 7,000 people, like I'm making an example, that the ICC is actually going to have that capacity once it is up and running, you'll find that, for instance, you could make an example and say, let's say half of those people want to do excursions. That then means the local guides, the local people that are responsible for moving people from place to place, the transport industry. In a huge way, you will find that various sectors actually end up benefiting from those activities. I mean, there's lots of things that would happen. I mean, tourists would also want to visit markets to actually check what is there in terms of art and craft and it's the list is endless.
The list is endless. I agree. Just to amplify your point, when we have such big events as the bushfire, as tour guides and tourists, we really beam with pride because that is business for us. So that really amplifies your point, Mr. Dlamini. Thank you so much. Your passion really comes through. It shows that you are very passionate about this whole thing, and we truly, truly appreciate you. So, building on what you've just said, if you could just leave one key message with both local stakeholders and international travelers, what would it be, about Eswatini's future as a tourism and MICE destination?
I believe, like I mentioned, if I'm talking to the local people, let's keep them coming to the country. But the only way to keep them coming to the country when they start arriving in big numbers is to ensure that they live with that very good experience, and they live with that experience that we have promoted of the warmth and the hospitality of Eswatini. I think for me that is very important, so that when they come here, our different delegates coming from different countries, when they leave, they actually leave with a mindset that says, we would want to come back, we would want to host conferences again in the kingdom because the experience was so good. I think for me that is very important. I think for our people wanting to come to the kingdom to host those conferences, I think the reality is that we are ready as a country. We are going to be even more ready once we have our International Convention Center up and running. We do believe that we are ready to host big conferences, and we know that when they come here, they will have the experience of their life.
Thank you. That was very insightful, Mr. Dlamini. At African Tourism Showcase Eswatini, we actively work on, bridging the gap between business and tourism. Hence, we are sitting here with you today. So we truly, truly appreciate that.
Thank you.
So we have come to the conclusion of the I don't want to call it an interview, but a conversation. And we want to thank you profusely for your time. Thank you so much, Mr. Dlamini. We look forward to what the country is able to offer, to the locals and the international. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We also appreciate the opportunity.
Joining us now is Ms. Ntokozo Mngadi, who is the CEO of Stratcom Events, one of Eswatini's leading events management companies. Stratcom has been at the forefront of designing unique experiences that not only deliver world-class experiences, standards, but also showcase Eswatini's rich culture and hospitality. Ms. Ntokozo, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you. So our questions to you, Ms. CEO of Stratcom Events, is what makes hosting events in Eswatini special compared to other destinations?
Okay. I think the first thing is we're in the Southern African region, so we are more central, more accessible. You spoke of showcasing Eswatini as well. We have smaller markets, making it a very personalized experience in terms of events, from our local cuisine to the events. It's corporate. We hold corporate standards, global standards in terms of events that we host in the country. But we also have that feel, that touch of home, to say it's more exclusive. You get a personalized experience in terms of the food, in terms of the service, in terms of the destinations, and seeing our culture and everything else that's our landscape. So I think it's a location.
Absolutely, not leaving out our world-class hospitality.
Yes, definitely.
Hospitality. I mean, anywhere that you go in every part of the world, they will tell you that Swazi people are the nicest people in Africa. Thank you so much for that. That was very powerful. So could you share an example of a past event that highlights what you've just mentioned?
Oh, okay. I think we as Stratcom Events, we've had an investors forum. We will also have one in the year. We have a South African based company. So we hosted an investors forum where we had policymakers to just speak to investment opportunities in the country, in Africa, and the rest of the world, and trying to position Eswatini for a global market. It was last year, 2024, and we have one again this year. It's an institutional investors forum.
Absolutely, so, amazing.
And I think the hospitality part is very important. If it's exclusive, it feels like home. You get to say how you want the aircons to be, how you actually can tailor make it to whatever your clients are looking for.
Congratulations, Ms. Mngadi. You have done very, very well. And it's I love the fact that it speaks to the conversation that we are having right now, as positioning Eswatini as the emerging MICE hub in the region. So well done. Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful initiative. My last question would be, how do you incorporate Eswatini's hospitality and creativity into the events that you organize?
Okay, from the first time, thank you for asking that question, because I think it's very valid. From inception, when we get to know what kind of events that you want, it's a personalized experience. We tailor make it to you. What do you want from the event? And from there, from the waiters that will be helping you, the people that will be fetching you from the border and stuff like that, we make sure that we, in terms of managing, starting the event with you, and even running the event, you get to have the feel of Eswatini. The respect, how you can't not know what has to happen. So we fill you in, we take you through, we journey with you. So we are very, our hospitality is on another level. And it doesn't matter the event that we have. There was a viral tweet just when we had bushfire, when people were just saying it is so nice attending an event in Eswatini. We were getting help. When you attend events somewhere else, even if it's the African region, you are so scared because you'll just ask, oh, where are the toilets? And the person will just say, I'm not working here. So I think that speaks to if we get people coming to events in the country and they say, oh, we like the service from the border. People are saying, oh, thank you, because they are being told from the border, oh, is it your first time visiting the country? You can go to these places. You even get transportation even from the border, even from the airports, to just take you through your journey, that you're not only just like visiting a country and we don't care about you. We want you to feel at home, away from home. So I think, and it's like it's embedded in us, because you get it everywhere. You get it everywhere, from the petrol stations that will be attending you to everywhere. By the time you get to the event, you are very happy.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Ms. Mngadi, for sharing those insights. It's clear that events in Eswatini is just, if you want to host something, Eswatini is the right place to be. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate the work that Stratcom does. Stratcom Events. It's very beautiful and it's very nice to see. And what you're doing is, to position Eswatini as a destination choice for world-class events is absolutely commendable. We are very grateful. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your insights, and congratulations on the work that you've done, the work that you're doing, and the work that you're still to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the work you are doing. So
congratulations to us.
Yes, congratulations to us.
Yes, to making Eswatini the next biggest MICE hub.
Yes, please.
For your events, for your conferences, we are here. Thank you so much.